Let's talk about infinity. I mean, it's a concept that has fascinated and, let's be real, baffled thinkers for centuries. And for over 100 years now, our modern understanding of it has been built on this one single elegant proof. But what if that proof had a fundamental crack in its foundation? Today, we're going to dig into a text that claims to have found one, and honestly, it could change everything we think we know about the infinite.
If you ask a mathematician this question, you're almost certainly going to get a firm no. This whole idea that there are different sizes or cardinalities of infinity, well, that's a cornerstone of modern mathematics. But today, we're looking at a text that puts a giant question mark right next to that very cornerstone. So we're going to unpack a source text that makes a truly radical claim, that George Cantor's famous diagonal proof, the very argument that gave us this whole hierarchy of infinities, is just wrong. And not just a little bit wrong, but like fundamentally flawed in its very logic.
So what is this supposed flaw? Well, the critique we're looking at doesn't just nitpick the conclusion. No, it argues the entire proof is built on a method that's just not legitimate.
I mean, listen to the language here. Vacuous proof, illegitimate argument. In the world of mathematics, those are some incredibly strong words. The claim is that the proof is essentially empty, that it proves nothing because its core reasoning just doesn't hold up.
Right, so let's be super clear. This isn't about some minor error or a small typo. This is a head-on challenge to the proof's entire logical structure. The author's position is that the whole chain of reasoning, from the first step to the final conclusion, is basically broken. So how do they make that case? The entire counter-argument really hinges on a single but really powerful idea that reframes the whole problem. And it's something the author calls the ongoing list.
This right here is the key. An ongoing list is, by its very nature, incomplete. It's always a work in progress. You can always add one more thing to it. Think of it like a to-do list that you keep adding tasks to. It's never actually done. This concept is absolutely central to understanding this critique.
Okay, so here's how the logic breaks down. According to this counterpoint, Cantor's proof starts by assuming you have a complete list of all rational numbers. Then, it uses that famous diagonal method to create a brand new number that isn't on the list. So the proof's big conclusion is the list must have been complete. So this new number has to be a whole different type of number, an irrational one. But this critique says, whoa, hold on a second. Finding a new number doesn't prove it's a new type of number. It just proves your original list wasn't finished. It was just an ongoing list.
And this right here is the heart of the whole disagreement. The entire debate really boils down to this one distinction. Is the list in Cantor's proof complete, or is it merely ongoing? For Cantor's proof to work, it has to be complete. But this argument insists it can only ever be ongoing.
And this quote from the text just hammers that point home. It's a direct claim that you simply cannot equate an infinitely growing list with a complete list. Just because you can keep adding numbers forever doesn't mean you've somehow captured all of them at any single moment.
Okay, so let's just say, for the sake of argument, we accept this. What happens next? Well, a pretty big domino falls, and it takes a whole lot of other ideas down with it.
This is the big one. Cantor's diagonal argument is the foundational proof, the one used to show that the infinity of real numbers is larger than the infinity of rational numbers. So if that proof is invalid, well, then the main justification for that entire concept just kind of vanishes. And the author says it plainly. Without a correct proof, the whole idea of a hierarchy of infinities is, in their view, just an unsupported assumption. The idea that all infinities might actually be the same size comes roaring back into the picture. But actually, this critique goes even deeper.
Yeah, the implications get even broader here. This argument challenges the very idea of a continuum. You know that perfect unbroken line of numbers? It claims that not only do the rational numbers fail to create this seamless line, but the real numbers don't either. And the final claim is the most sweeping of all, that no number system can actually form a perfect gapless line. This isn't just about infinity anymore. It's a challenge to how we even visualize numbers themselves.
So after digging into this deep critique, it kind of forces us to step back and ask a much more fundamental question about what mathematical knowledge even is.
As we wrap this up, it's really important to remember what we've done here. We haven't tried to prove or disprove Cantor. We've just presented the argument from one specific source that mounts this really fascinating and fundamental challenge to a mathematical truth we've held for a long, long time.
And that leaves us with a much bigger question, doesn't it? This isn't just about infinity anymore. It's about the nature of proof itself.
If a proof that's been accepted for over a century can be fundamentally questioned at its very core, what does it really take for us to believe an idea is mathematically true?